anti-apartheid activist, millionaire businessman, and now President of South Africa.
And I'll seek to execute that task with humility, faithfulness, and with dignity as well.
Cyril Ramaphosa succeeds Jacob Zuma's corruption-tainted decade at the helm. And he has a mighty mess to clean up.
The issues that you have raised, issues that have to do with corruption, issues of how we can straighten out our state-owned enterprises and how we deal with state capture are issues that are on our radar screen. Those are issues that we're going to be addressing.
At the State of the Nation address on Friday, he will first lay out his agenda. Ramaphosa says his priority is reviving South Africa's battered economy.
Thank you.
In order to do that, he'll need to address corruption claims at the heart of government, which the Auditor General says is endemic. Ramaphosa will need to replace several Zuma-appointed heads of law enforcement agencies to hold those guilty to account. He will also need to set out strong policies to boost business confidence and investment. Economic growth has faltered in recent years, with the country slipping into recession early last year before recovering slightly, and almost a third of the population is unemployed. South Africa has to diversify its exports to become less reliant on commodities. Mining currently accounts for half of South Africa's exports. It's a tough road ahead. The ANC is deeply divided and the cabinet needs to be cleaned out. But there is confidence in the change of guard. The Rand has been on a rollercoaster ride, but since Ramaphosa's election as ANC leader in December, it's gained around 15%, more than any other currency against the US dollar. Ramaphosa will have to quickly convince voters before elections next year, but he's not worried.
Leave 2019 aside, let us deal with the current moment and work together on how we are going to improve the lives of our people rather than grandstanding, rather than standing on big platforms.
After 9 years of little economic action, it's what people want to hear. Liz Maddock, TRT World.
Barnaby Fletcher joins me now from London. He's an analyst at Control Risks South Africa, a political risk assessment firm. Thanks so much for joining us, Barnaby. Now, would you say that Jacob Zuma's removal is the beginning of his problems? And do you think there'll be accountability for his 9 years in office? I mean, he's been involved in scandal after scandal.
Absolutely he has, and this is one of the reasons why the ANC has pressured him to resign. Ever the political survivor, Zuma played a game of brinkmanship and resigned only at the very last moment, the night before the ANC was due to, or the Parliament was due to hold a no confidence vote. And the reason he was holding out was likely to try and secure some kind of promise of protection from future prosecution over a number of these corruption scandals. This is a promise that the ANC simply could not give because of how electorally damaging it would be. And so there are the 783 counts of corruption relating to an arms deal in 1999, which is currently going through the courts. There are investigations into state capture. Now, I can't comment on the process of these legal undertakings, but I would certainly say that Zuma doesn't have a nice, easy retirement to look forward to.
OK. And what about seriously taking on the Guptas and also state capture that they're linked to?
Well, so you already saw just on Tuesday this week raids of various commercial premises and residencies linked to the Gupta business family by the police, by the Hawks. And a lot of these national prosecuting authorities, a lot of these police units which are tasked with tackling corruption have had a lot of their independence undermined by Zuma as he seeks to protect himself and protect his allies. But new appointments at the heads of these, if they can bring the cases before South Africa's courts, South Africa's judiciary remains one of the most independent in the world and fully capable of properly investigating, properly hearing these cases and bringing a measure of accountability to these figures, however senior they are.
Okay, and South Africa's new president, Cyril Ramaphosa, he used his first speech in office to say that he would fight against corruption, government corruption. Do you really think that he has the teeth to make a very big cleanup and remove all the old guard from the ANC?
I think two things are worth noting. First of all, Ramaphosa needs to be seen to take anti-corruption efforts. The ANC, the ruling party, faces increasing competition from opposition, and there's an election coming up just next year. It'll be difficult for him to tackle corruption right down, fully address it. It has unfortunately spread to the lowest levels of government under Zuma. But some symbolic acts, dismissal of some ministers, implicated in corruption scandals, will send a clear message that the culture of impunity that existed under Zuma is no longer there. And secondly, it's worth noting that Ramaphosa himself is not, he's a wealthy businessman himself. He does not rely on systems of patronage.
Okay. Now, there's a budget speech next week that's been penciled in. Ramaphosa will be presiding over this. What needs to be in that budget speech to lift South Africa up from the doldrums that the economy that it's in, and also investor confidence?
So there are a lot of quite deep-rooted challenges that have taken hold under Zuma. State-owned companies have racked up debts. There's the corruption that we've mentioned. These won't be fully addressed for quite a number of years, probably. But there are certain things that Ramaphosa can do immediately, which are, if you like, easy wins. One of the things, although Ramaphosa hasn't articulated a clear policy direction yet, he'll likely use the State of the Nation address to do this, and just providing a measure of clarity over policy that was unfortunately absent under Zuma presidency, that was distracted by these corruption scandals. That kind of clarity will help investors no matter what the precise details are.
Okay. Barnaby, thanks so much for that. That was Barnaby Fletcher, analyst at Controls Risk South Africa in London.